Rick Redmond here with Louisville Slugger TPS Softball, and we're thrilled to have with us today Jessica Mendoza, Olympic gold medalist, Team USA, and part of our advisory staff at TPS. Jessica, it's great to have you as part of our team.
Thanks, good to be here.
You know, I know you've been playing Fastpitch for a long time. Talk a little bit about when you got started. How old were you?
Well, actually, I first started playing baseball when I was 6 years old. There wasn't a girls softball league. My dad was a baseball coach, and I signed up, the only girl on an all-boys team. And first day out, I remember they were like, "What's this girl? Why is she out here? She can't play. She's a girl." I'll tell you what, my dad had trained me well, and by about the second, third day of practice, I was the go-to. I was the shortstop, and they stopped looking at me as a girl and just saw me as another player.
And what does that say to young girls who may be watching this video? Hey, look, you know, you work at it, you can play with the boys, you can beat the boys.
Oh, I think the biggest thing it tells them is if you're an athlete, you're an athlete. Regardless, boy, girl, big, small, it doesn't really matter. If you got the heart, the determination, a little bit of talent, you can take it pretty far.
Okay, your dad, I've met him, and he's a great guy. And he worked you pretty hard, and your sister too, I understand. You know, what was it like growing up in the Mendoza household?
Well, it wasn't always fun and games, I'll tell you that. I love my parents. They were both, Gil and Karen, instrumental in all of my success. But my dad, more specifically, when I was young, I mean, we're talking like 8, 9, 10 years old, he was my coach. And if I missed a ground ball at shortstop, we were doing push-ups. Like, you know, give me 10. We had a little weight program that I had to do every day after I came back, real light stuff, but kind of like homework. And we always had a little cage set up in our garage, and I wasn't allowed to have dessert or watch TV until I took a certain amount of cuts in the garage. And we're talking some days, I'm like, "Dad, do I have to?" Like dragging my bat into the garage, but when it all came down to it, it paid off.
Well, obviously academics must have been very important to your parents as well, because you are a Stanford University graduate, and you don't get into Stanford University unless you're smart.
Well, I think that's the great part about sports is whatever motivation and determination and work ethic you have on the field, you take that into the classroom. And as competitive as I wanted to win on the field, that's how I was in the classroom. I mean, how could I be satisfied with a C or a D or a grade that I knew I didn't deserve when I could do better? And I'll never forget, I remember I had a teacher that posted whoever got the highest grades in the class. And just like I wanted to be #1 in softball, I wanted to be #1 in the classroom. And I think for most good athletes, they should be great students as well.
And obviously you're talking about a mental approach here to the classroom, because that's what it takes. There has to be a mental approach also to the game of softball. And you've given us a lot of great tips and drills and hitting and all the different things that you can do from the physical side of hitting and throwing a ball and running the bases and all those things. But there's a mental approach to this game as well. Tell us about that.
I completely agree with you. I think the physical part is something that is covered in practice time and time again. That's the part that you know, the drills. But the mental preparation, I feel, is so much more important than any physical thing you can work on. And that's because, especially as a hitter, if you're successful, 300 hitter, you're failing 7 out of 10 times. How are you dealing with that? How are you preparing? And for me, the night before, I try to find out as much as I can about the pitcher I'm going to face so that I can visualize whether I know her motion or maybe even just know her go-to pitches. So the night before, I can kind of just close my eyes and I can picture taking that curveball right back up the middle. So when I get to the game, I've prepared physically all I needed to, but now mentally I'm in a state where I have the confidence stepping into that batter's box. I know I'm going to do well.
And how do you do that when you come out of the dugout from the circle and then into the batter's box?
Well, I take basically my preparation from the night before, all that visualization, and now I'm on deck, right? I'm one step away from getting into that batter's box. So now I'm actually trying to time the pitcher, and that's where mental preparation and visualization also come into play. Instead of just sitting there and just kind of taking my hacks, I'm actually watching her movement and timing my movement to her movement, and then visualizing again how I'm gonna hit the pitches she's throwing. Mentally, I'm also trying to see how she's throwing other left-handed hitters. She's staying away, she's coming high and tight. So that way I'm not surprised when she does the same with me.
Now, these are the things that you do during the season. What about the off season? And you know, for today's kids who are playing Fastpitch, there's not necessarily much of an off season with travel ball and everything. They're playing or working out, it seems like, most of the time. But in those periods of time when maybe they're not playing, how would you recommend they approach getting ready for the next season? What kinds of things should these girls be doing?
Well, I think it's important what age, too. I think once you hit about 15, 16 years old, that's when you need to have more of an off-season preparation. Before that, I mean, you're just out there having fun, and when you're away from the field, be away from the field. Go have fun, climb trees. That's really what being a kid's all about. But once you hit a certain age, your goals are to play in college. You also want to start doing stuff away from the field, in the weight room and conditioning. Off season, you want to do a lot more cardio to get your legs and body ready for what it's going to be going through in season. And then as far as in the weight room, you're not trying so much to bulk up and get like real strong like a football player or anything like that. But as a softball player, it's all about explosive power. So you want to kind of work on different things that are going to allow you to get fast out of the box, fast on your drop step in the outfield. As an infielder, good lateral movement, and down the bases to be quick.
The girls who are watching this video, many of them are going to dream of playing in college or someday being an Olympian like Jessica Mendoza. Tell them a little bit about what it's like to be a Division I college athlete, and then also to go on and be part of the Olympic experience.
Well, the biggest thing I tell young girls, I mean, you want to shoot high with any kind of goal and dream. But the thing with shooting that high is it takes a day-to-day process. I mean, if you could follow me around every day and see me getting up at 6 a.m. and doing runs, when, you know, I don't always want to, and all the extra effort. But what it comes down to is having that heart. And I feel like to be successful, whether it's Division I, Division II athlete, going on to be an Olympic athlete, this is the kind of stuff that just takes more than just dreaming it. It takes you waking up every day and doing something small to get that much better. And if you're able to do that and say, you know what, I put 100% into today, and I'm going to put 100% into tomorrow, you really can reach so many goals you set out to do.
Is it the kind of thing where girls should lay out a program and try to stick to it, or some days just kind of wing it, but just make sure that they do something every day?
Well, I think it's important for young girls, like I said, to have the big goals, but then also set specific small goals. So whether it's, okay, I want to go and play in college. Well, how are you going to do it? I need to maybe hit better. How am I going to hit better? Well, today I'm going to try to hit the outside pitch on the ground. I mean, that's specific. Instead of just being like, I just want to be a great hitter. Well, how do you become a great hitter? What specifically do you have to do? And then what goals? For that game, it might just be, you know what? I'm just going to try to hit hard ground balls this game, or good line drives. Whatever it might be, it starts really small, and then that's when you see yourself get closer to the bigger goals.
When did you know that you were good enough to make Team USA?
Oh, to be honest, I don't know. I'm still kind of in awe. Like, I look around at some of the amazing athletes that are out there. I'm like, how am I even here right now? But it's always been a dream of mine. And what happened is I came straight from college. I had a really great season, and I went straight to tryouts. And it was like a whirlwind. I was out there just looking around going, do I even deserve to be on the field with some of these girls? And then I made the team. And to be honest, I'm waiting for someone to pinch me, and it's gonna all be a dream, because it has been. And sometimes I don't even think it's real.
Well, obviously it means a great deal to you to be a member of Team USA.
Oh, it gives me goosebumps. There's nothing better than, not only if you can tell how much I love this sport, so playing a sport you love, but to play for a country you love, it is phenomenal. And in Olympic Games, to have that national anthem, knowing how hard you've worked and how proud you are of the people and the place that you represent, I mean, having USA across your chest, there's nothing better.
And it has to be just some great experiences being at the Olympics and being part of that, walking out in the opening ceremonies and the Olympic Village and the closing ceremonies and all those things.
Well, the best part about the Olympics is the fact that it's so much more beyond sport. To me, it's the greatest sporting event in the world because it sets aside any political issues or anything that's going on. And I remember at the Olympic Village, we all ate together. Every country, one big dining hall. And I was walking around, the girls would make fun of me because I never sat with our team. I was going over to Kenya or over to Jamaica or, you know, I mean, all traveling the world, talking to these other athletes, and you really get a sense of just, I mean, not only how great it is to be an American, but what it means to every country to be there. And it's to have us all in one place, you know, one common goal to win, and it's such an amazing feeling. But nothing is better than winning a gold medal at the Olympics.
I cannot imagine that anything could be better than that. Thanks to you, Jessica, for your time today. Thanks for all the great work you do for our country, for Team USA, and for representing TPS Louisville Slugger. And listen to Jessica, and you too can become a better fast pitch player.